answer them. Hold on to my throne of glory. So that's what Moshe Rabbeinu did. He held on to Hashem's throne of glory, and then he had a debate with the angels, right? What does it say in the Torah? Honor your mother and father. You guys got a mother and father? No, we don't have a mother and father. Right? And they go, well, see, this says honor your mother and father, so it's for us, right? Mm-hmm. It says don't commit idolatry. Do you guys ever get involved in idolatry? No, we don't get involved in idolatry. We're from Brooklyn. Right? So he won the debate. Amazing. Baruch Hashem. So the idea that Rabbi Nachman explains by him holding on, so to speak, to God's throne of glory was he held on to all of the souls of the Jewish people. He was totally connected to all of the souls of the Jewish people because that's really where we come from. I tell this all the time to people that we come from the throne of glory. Okay? You don't come from New Orleans. You don't come from LA. Right? You don't come from Toronto, and you don't come, right, from Cucamonga. Really, our neshamas come from the throne of glory. When God made the world, and with all of the temptations and the darkness that are in the world, He needed somebody to go down there to go ahead and elevate the world, and to make it a place for where God can dwell. Tira petachtonim. Make a dwelling place for God. So the angels could not handle the mission. There's no way they would be able to handle it. Only somebody from one level above. The angels come from the world of Yetzirah. Or in the world of Asiya, making. Above us is Yetzirah. And above that is the world of Bria, which is called the world of the throne. So the world of Yetzirah, the world just above this, the angels, no. There's no way they could handle it. They can't handle that mission. They can't. They get tempted in the things of this world, and they'd never be able to go ahead and fight. They would never be able to fight against the Yetzer-Haras, the temptations, the distractions, and everything else. Either they would be so devastated when they would fall that they would kill themselves, or whatever. Only from the throne of glory, entities from the throne of glory could come down into this world and do what's necessary, okay, which is us.
So you're saying that we're from Bria? So
we're commandos.
Bria.
We're commandos, and those guys are just
okay.
all the way pass through Yetzirah. Do not collect $200. Go directly to jail. Okay?
Thanks. That's what it feels like, huh?
But the whole point is you have to get out. You have to figure out how to get out. The Ana B'Koach gets us out, okay?
Is that a get out of jail free card?
Yes, plenty of those. They're everywhere, okay? This is one of them, okay? Okay. So anyways, we have the idea of these three aspects are the three aspects of what the angels are doing actually. Covering their face, covering their legs, and then flying. Okay, I don't know what that is, so we'll have to leave it for later on, a later study. Okay. Therefore, you have to connect each two letters together. Gam haya omer mori. Also, my master said, Rabbi Chaim Vital says, Shevach ze ben imus uben nigun. You have to say it pleasantly and with nigun, which means you gotta say a song. So there's the song that most classically people sing, but I'm not for that song.
Right.
I don't like that song.
What?
Ana b'koach, b'koach.
Yes, that one.
You know why I don't like it?
Doesn't it have any lines?
It's nice. It's just nice.
Yeah, it's not exciting.
It's okay. The reason why I don't like it is because you're not supposed to repeat a letter. When you go ana b'koach, you just repeated it.
Yeah.
And then now some places hold there's no problem of repeating it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any mystic who ever holds by repeating anything. Okay?
Really?
Because you're saying names of God. So you're going to mess it up if you're doing it. You're saying names of angels, you're saying names of God, you repeatedly just messed him up, so you got an angel with no wings, and he's going to be upset.
It's really a recent thing that they started this whole don't repeat words.
It's only recent?
Oh my God.
Well,
it's very recent. It's like maybe the last 1 or 2 decades. It's not before that.
Interesting. Why did that come out
If
now?
you-
In my yeshiva,
Yeah.
they didn't
Look
repeat.
at Chazanis.
Chazanas, they do whatever they want. You're right, and there's not, and technically, according to Jewish law, there's not a problem with it. According to Jewish law, there's not a problem. They ask big rabbanim, big rabbis. It's great. You're right. Okay? All I'm saying is, from the mystic point of view, you're saying angels' names, not a good idea. Okay? But if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. Okay? You shouldn't stop a chazan from repeating if he does it. Okay? But for you in your private practice, it's not better. But so there's another Ana B'Koach Nigun. How does it go? Ana. It's a nice one. It's from Shlomo Carlebach, right? Ana B'Koach Gadol Yasmincha Tatir Tzurura. Higher and higher, higher and higher. Okay, you can go ahead and do it yourself. Or you can go to go YouTube, Google it. Yeah. Okay. I'm not a good voice, so I'm not going to sing it for you tonight. Okay? Anyway, so we have the two letters, and therefore, after you do say this two letter, okay, with pleasantness and with a nigun, okay, so you have to say Baruch Shem Kavod after, and you don't say Baruch Shem loud. Okay? The Ari writes, so that's Rav Chaim Vital in Shar Kavanot. The Ari writes, right, and also in Shar Kavanot Sfirat HaOmer, he writes, and this is more specifically to Sfirat HaOmer. A person has to have intention, another intention, and that is the name of 42, that is hinted to in the Ana B'Koach prayer, right? Mm-hmm. These are 7 names, and each of the names, the 7 names, have 6 letters. So in the first week of the counting of the Omer, a person has to have intention for the first letter, the Shem Echad, for the first name. The first name, which is the Ana B'Koach. The Ana B'Koach, let's say the first week, right, he has to have, right, and you have to divide it into 7 days of the week, right, and so it has to be that first letter is going to be the first night, and the second letter is going to be the second night. The third letter, and so on, right? O tav b'layel hey, right? O tzadi b'layel vav, uvechol vav otiyot atzmam b'leil shvi'i. And then you say all of the 6 letters themselves in the 7th night. V'al derech zeh b'kol shavua b'shem shel chelko. So I have it actually here on the second page that I got for you. If you'll look, actually, in number 3 I have on the top of this page here. So the top of that page here actually is the Ana B'Koach. Ignore number 2 and 4. But number 3, actually, you'll see it says Ana B'Koach Gedula Shemin Chen. It goes all the way down. And if you look at the first 6, it has each word. And then in the 7th one has the entire name. Because that's the culmination of the entire week. And it goes on like that, on and on and on. Okay? So it's a tikkun. The Ana B'Koach in the Sfirat HaOmer is a tremendous tikkun. And to have that name for that specific day, or that specific week in mind, draws rectification to the neshama. Don't forget, we're all on a journey here, folks. What you do in these days has a tremendous effect in your year, okay, in the macro. It's a micro of a macro. What you do in these days has a tremendous effect. Saying this Ana B'Koach and being very particular about it, and having particular intention on the day, that it will draw to you as you say the name of whatever it is that day, Ana or B'Koach. You're actually drawing through those letters, through the name, through the pronunciation into your soul, a rectification. Okay? So that is why that is not why, but that's what we do. That's what you have to have the intention for on Sfirat HaOmer, as it says here. Okay? Now, there's brought down in a sefer called Ohev Yisrael, that it says, brings down an interesting dynamic here that we have to understand here that also ties into the 42. I think we spoke about this a little bit last week. Mm-hmm. That we know that the first night of Passover was a tremendous epiphany, a tremendous connection. There was a tremendous amount of light at the very first night of Passover. Mm-hmm. Cinderella goes to the ball, Cinderella meets the prince. Right? What a high. What an amazing night. Cinderella never had such a night. She met her Prince Charming, right? Right? But of course we know that what happened after that night, all lights went out. So the redemption here, that part of the redemption that we always say that's from Malamala Lamata. It's Aruta de la Eila, it's an awakening from above. It wasn't earned. It wasn't earned from us. Right? It was a freebie. Hashem had to throw a freebie. Okay? That's the first night of Passover. But of course, right after that first night of Passover, lights went out. Okay? That whole high was gone. And then what happened is we went on our travelings. All of our travelings that we went through, not only just from Egypt to the Red Sea, but beyond the Red Sea, beyond Sinai, until we get to the land of Israel, was how many? If you look in the end of Parshas Maseh, 42 places where the Bnei Israel traveled. Okay? 42 places.
What do you do in Israel when there's no second day?
Israel?
Yeah.
Second day of Rosh Hashanah? There is. Second day. No, you still count. What do you mean?
Yeah, you're talking about Surat Omer.
Surat Omer,
But you're
right.
also talking about the second day of Pesach, which doesn't exist in Israel.
No, but it's not significant because it's we still have Shavuos, so we leave the same day, right?
Yeah.
So it explains that the Geula, the redemption, there are three hands we have in our tradition. Three hands. God operates with three hands. Okay? Right? There's Yad Ramah, Yad Chazaka, and a third one which I don't remember off the top.
Why is it always linked right hand though?
Yamincha. Chesed. Chesed is always associated with. But there's three hands we have in our tradition. Okay? Yad Ramah was one of them. Okay? And it says that the Bnei Israel, when they went out with Yad Ramah.
Zerua, after the next two words are Yad Ramah Zerua. I can't think of the second word.
Go get a chumash behind you, man. Right there. You didn't have to reach up. Right there. Keep going right. A little bit more right. Right there.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Ramah is a level.
Get a chumash.
Yeah.
It's in Shmos. Pardon?
Ramah is a level.
Ramah means high. They went out with a high hand. It literally translates that the Bnei Israel went out with a high hand.
Right.
Right? But if you look in the Aramaic, it means Reish Galusa. Right? So a lot of interpretations about what that means. Okay?
So go on the two ya's, the next two words after Yad Ramah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You want me? Here, I'll find it for you. Okay. Okay, so you said the next word were Vayerdefu Mitzrayim Achareim. You want to know what the next words were?
Yeah.
Right. So right after they went out with
Yad Ramah.
yeah, Baresh Gali. Okay. Baresh Gali is also like the Rosh Tevos of Shiva Bar Yochai. In any case, what's the significance of that? Vayerdefu Mitzrayim Achareim. What was this? What was it? No? Okay. In any case, they went out with Yad Ramah, okay? So we say that on that first night of Pesach, the way that it is understood according to the mystics, it's called that there was revealed to them all of the Mochin de Gadlut. Mochin de Gadlut literally means, let's say, expanded consciousness. Okay. Is one way to say it. Literally, it's big brains, okay? So you can say big brains is mature intellect. If a person is a gadol, if he has a mature intellect, all right? They saw all the levels. We call it mochin de gadlut, okay? So through that, what happened is, through that expanded consciousness that it was revealed to them, so therefore they were able to elevate all of the holy sparks. That we know that, every single thing contains holy sparks, and when Adam Arishon sinned in the Garden of Eden, they say that his soul burst into sparks that flew all over the entire world, and then it became incumbent upon mankind after that to go and gather all of those holy sparks. The Arizal explains that it was the biggest nechama after we've been in exile for 1,000 years in Europe. People were depressed until The Arizal came and he explained the reason why I've been in exile so long is because we have to gather the holy sparks. And until the holy sparks are gathered, that's why we're out here. Holy sparks are in every single thing that you use. Your clothes you wear, the food you eat, the car you drive, the house you live in. Every single thing has holy sparks in it. And when we finish elevating the holy sparks, so then they move away from us and they go to somewhere else. The clothes wear out according to the Baal Shem Tov because you've elevated the holy sparks. You don't want it anymore and you give it to goodwill for someone else to come to pick up. And he has holy sparks that he has to elevate in it. Okay? In any case, when they left Egypt, they said they left with the head of Adam, meaning the head, the sparks that were associated with the body parts. The head of Adam was there. They were able to elevate all of the holy sparks. Okay? So when they elevate and they release the holy sparks, then these holy sparks will attach themselves to their root, the high root, from the source from where they came out from. So v'tekef achakach nitla mehem bechinat amadregazu hagedola. So then, right after, like I was been telling you, the day after that they was able to release all these unbelievable holy sparks, they had an unbelievable epiphany. What a high! It was all taken from them. And therefore, the Bnei Israel then had to go ahead and travel from place to place, from level to level, in each and every one of the travelings, and fixing one aspect, one letter from the 42 holy letter name of the Ana B'Koach. In other words, if you want to look at your map of your travels, the Baal Shem Tov explains the 42 places that we traveled. You know, if you go look at it in Parshas Maseh, Matos Maseh, Parshas Maseh, and the end of Numbers, and it brings down, and they went from Ramses to Sukkot, and Sukkot to Picheirot, and then they went, you know, and he says, listen, that's the path of every single Jew. Every single Jew has 42 places, 42 levels. Every single Jew. When the children of Israel went out of Egypt, that's the birth. The birth, even on an individual basis, the birth of a Jewish person. And then the Jewish people, until they go to their final place in the land of Israel, they go through 42 paths until they go to their final resting place. The Jew similarly goes through 42 places until he goes to his final resting place in the land of Israel, or we'll say the next world. Okay? Each one of those places there was a challenge. Each one of those places, they had to overcome something. 10 places they tested God. 10 times they tested him. But each one there was a challenge. It was a war, a battle in the mind.
Yeah.
Okay? Some evil inclinations, something they had to overcome. We all also have 42 stages in our development to overcome. Okay? The question is, which one are you on? Okay? He gives an example, the place where they actually craved meat, and God gave them meat for 30 days, and then after 30 days, the plague went out and killed them, and they buried the dead, and they called the place Kivrot Tava, bury the dead. So the Baal Shem Tov explains that's a place where the person gets wisdom, meaning if you have wisdom, so the material lusts, the lusts of this world, don't have an effect upon the person. They say the desires are buried, okay, when a person reaches a certain level of wisdom. So in other words, every single stage of the 42 is the development of each of a single individual, okay? And in the global, you see it in the Chumash, in the book of Numbers, when the children of Israel went through the 42 paths. But that's an unbelievable thing. So you see in Genesis, you have 42 in the very first few psukim of Genesis. You see it in the first chapter of Genesis, 32 paths, right? And then you have 42 in the journeys of the children of Israel, and our own 42. It is you. That's your map. It's in a letter form, okay? So you don't know where you're at, but definitely you know that a map helps. Certainly, okay?
Yes.
Many times I'm wandering around Houston, I'm trying to find some place, and if I didn't have the Google Map Quest, just to find where I'm at sometimes. Thank God. Forget about where I'm trying to get to. Then I'll punch in the numbers if I have an address. course, my wife, give me an address. It's just to the left, third house on the left. No, it won't work, okay? So, through that, through the 42 stages of the holy name of the Ana B'Koach, through that, so therefore, elevates Nis'alu hanitzutzo takadusha shebamasa hahu. Oh, that's great stuff. Through saying the 42 letter name of God, what happens? You elevate the holy sparks that are in that certain place where you are at. Maybe you don't know what, maybe you're in number 3. I hope not. Maybe you're in 15, maybe you're in 41. Okay? You don't know, but you need to elevate the sparks to where you are. So it's an unbelievable machine, this name of God, that helps you to do the super elevation of the holy sparks right then and right there at whatever stage of development you're at. Okay? V'nidbaku b'shorasham. So then you cause the holy sparks to attach themselves to their holy root in the place where they went out from. Ad asher hishlimu hamem beitz masaot b'shlemut bechinat hagimel yud yadot. Until that you finally complete the 42 travels, the 42 journeys in completion in those 3 aspects of the 3 hands. V'yaz niknesu el eretz chayfetz Hashem. And then you enter into the holy land of Israel. And then chazru bol el madregos hazu be'atzma shel leil pesach rishon. And then after you finish the 42, then return all of those levels, the unbelievable high, the highest of the levels of consciousness that you got the very first night of Pesach, okay, which was al yadei his galus yad ramah, which this yad ramah that they had this revelation of, this high hand. Ki bechinat gedula hahu nilkach meitam tekef, because we know that after the first night of Pesach it was all taken from them. Why? In order that the people, we have to make effort ourselves as much as possible through the 42 journeys that we have to do to bring back and to come to that level. In other words, the level was given us, and a lot of times it's like that. Hashem throws a freebie, He gives you a high, He gives you an inspiration, and then it's gone. And then what? You have to work for the inspiration. You have to work for it, okay? A lot of people, their lives were like that.
So is it saying like when we get to Shavuos, we've reached that level again?
Yes, in a micro. Yes. In other words, you're there.
Okay. But isn't it 49 then?
So we spoke about 49. Because if you look at it, there's 49 days. But you'll see that in here, what you're doing is you're saying 6, and then you're saying a whole name. Right? So it is 49. It's 42, which are really 49. We spoke about that before because I saw it in the Siddur, I think, that there were 7 places where they backtracked. And like they were there, but for some reason there were 7 backtrack places. Okay? Which could be like the 7 backtracks of the 7 weeks. Okay? Of that.
Realistic, because it happens to us.
Sometimes you gotta backtrack.
It happens.
Okay. Anyways, let's do a little bit of the actual prayer itself. Okay, we have a few minutes. I'm sorry that we took so long, but just to do at least the first line. Okay, you have to get a good flavor because you have to say it with kavanah, because it really is an unbelievable thing. It elevates the sparks, connects all the worlds together, and really get your prayers up there. It's a way that your prayers get answered. Okay, that's why it's said so many times. Okay, so the first words are Ana. I'm looking for my own copy. Here we go. This is I didn't buy it until I saw it in the Perush here because I didn't understand it. Ana b'koach, we know that, right? Ana b'koach gedula shemincha really is a phrase all on its own. It says, please, with the great strength of your right hand. And then what are we asking for? We're saying, please, Hashem, with the great strength of your right hand, Tatir Tzarura. And how do they translate it? I can't even read it.
Tatir Tzarura, untie the bundled sin.
Okay, so that's an interesting one. What do you mean by untying the bundled sins?
Other places it's translated as release the captive.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right?
Right.
Okay, so here, this is Art Scroll. Don't knock Art Scroll.
I'm not knocking it, I'm just interested.
See here, this is what he says. This is what Daniel Frisch says. Okay? First of all, let me tell you something. Rabbi Nachman says, the Holy Master Rabbi Nachman says, He brings it down Likutei Maharan and Tinyana. I think it's Torah 7. He says, there are many burdens. There are many burdens that a Jew carries throughout his life. There's many burdens. He says, but the hardest burden of all is the burden of sins. It's the hardest. Because if a Jew would really know, if he would really know where he came from, that he comes from the throne of glory, he would never, ever, ever come to do a sin. It's the worst thing in the world to hold on to. But here, here is his explanation. And now his explanation is, this is a prayer that we're saying after we do Sfirat HaOmer. So he says it's a way of avoda. You're asking God to bring you close to serving Him, to be attached to Him. Don't forget, the whole purpose of him writing this book about Sfirat HaOmer, and the whole goal of the Torah is for us to become attached to God. So the idea here that this is a prayer to attach to God, okay? But he only says this is b'derech efshar. He doesn't say this is for sure, because in all the books that he's looked at.
Who are you quoting that?
This is Daniel Frisch. He's the Metoch Midvash. He wrote the recent commentary of the Zohar and many other works too. Right? He passed away recently. I didn't know about him all my years in Israel.
There's a Daniel Mott.
This is
he translated the Zohar.
Yeah, but this is a translated commentary in Hebrew. Okay. He lived in Israel. In any case, so he says here, Ana b'koach, Avinu shabashamayim, our Father in heaven, Anu m'makshim mimcha, we ask from you, Shebekoach midas chasadecha hanikras gedula, that with the koach, with the power of the quality of your kindness, which is called gedula. That's why it's yamincha, right? Ana b'koach gedulas yamincha, which is really the idea of God's kindness. B'nirmezes biyad hayamin, it is hinted to the right hand. Tesayayno, help us. Lahatir, to release. Et hakesher yitzarenu hara, the knot of our evil inclination, which is stuck to us from the time that we were born. So really we're asking for a release. The release that we're asking for is really, it's like who's captive here, okay? Whatever it is, it's releasing the bond of our evil inclination that stuck to us from the time we were born.
So wait, do we believe like in original sin like the Catholics?
I asked my father-in-law that after learning many texts in Kabbalah. So this was his answer. I loved his answer. I don't know enough about that religion to answer.
We believe in the perfectibility of man. We're imperfect.
So I don't. That's what his answer was, and I was okay with that. But there is this thing. There is this. It's born. It's from the born. It's from Adam Arishon. There is this. We are impeded. Go look in the Sefer Ramchal, Derech Hashem. Ever since that Adam ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the soul is tied down.
Yeah.
The soul is kind of bound, which is what I always thought was Tatir Tzarura, release the bound, was release the soul. But it could be release the soul is in a way of releasing the sins, releasing the grip of the Yetzer Hara. If I release the grip of the Yetzer Hara from on me, don't forget, before Adam sinned in the Garden of Eden, the evil inclination was out there, it was external. Only once he ate it to become internalized, and it became enmeshed, and it's in our brains, and it's in our thoughts, and it's in our kishkas, and it's in our, right? And it talks to us from the depths, right? And so therefore we want to release that. So the idea really just of this, and we'll continue, it's Hashem, the rest of it, okay, because we're a little over time now. But the rest of it is, so this prayer, just to focus on that. You want, God, loosen that grip, so my soul can fly. Loosen that grip. Loosen the bond of the evil inclination from me. Okay? So we'll stop here, and we'll get to, and by the way, each one of these is also corresponds a day of the week. The first one is Yom Rishon. The second one is Yom Sheni. Okay? And you'll see even the Yom Sheni, which is a really wild one, okay? It actually has two words that spell out something there that you might be familiar with, and you've probably seen it in the Kvanot of the Tikiyat Shofar on Rosh Hashanah.
Indeed, I have.
It corresponds to day number 2. And day number 2, Hashem didn't say Ki Tov. Day number 2. In other words, that's why Mondays are always such a drag. Didn't you know that? Why are
Yes.
Mondays such a drag?
Yes.
Hashem never
did
said
not say
Ki Tov on
Ki Tov.
Mondays.
That's
He
right.
said it twice on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's why we all know Paman Ki Tov on Tuesday. I don't know why Tuesdays are just so light. But Mondays,
It's a school to get married on Tuesday.
that's right. They do weddings then.